Yo! Dank Hack Ninja here, and welcome to my Steve's Factory Manager tutorial. This is a beginner's tutorial. I'm making this because when I was starting out with Steve's Factory Manager, I looked up a couple tutorials, and it was always either like bare bones, no real application, just showing off like all the things it could do, or like a crazy application with all these different crazy commands and all that. So we're doing this, we're only going to use 5 things inside of the Steve's Factory Manager. If you understand these 5 things, then you can do like amazing things. We're going to do a few cool things, and let's just go ahead and get started with it. Alright, so we're going to throw our Steve's Factory Manager down here on this blood altar. If you've ever done blood magic, you know about slates, and automating slates is kind of important because it's a pain, right? You gotta do it. You don't want to stand around and do all your slates. So we've got a couple chests here. This is our input of stone, and this is going to be our output for our slates. So we go in our Steve's Factory Manager, and the first thing we want to do is get the stone into the altar. Let me get that out of the altar. So we're going to create an output, an input, and a trigger. Trigger on top, then input, then output. Okay, so this is going to be our stone. So if we ever want to stop this to put something else into the altar, we're going to make this our on-off switch. So we'll label this on-off, save it, and go back. We're also, we're also going to change the interval of this, because if you're feeding stuff into your altar, then you can get more than one in there. And we don't want them to pile up. We want to do one at a time, so they get done quickly. So we're going to change this to like 4 seconds. Good? Yes, good. I'm not sure if that's right, but we can tweak it in a little bit. So our input is coming from our diamond chest, and we're going to pull out of the top of the diamond chest. This doesn't really matter on chests, and a bunch of other things it doesn't matter. Anytime it doesn't matter, I always default to up, because that's like the top, that's where I would hit it anyway. Then we tell it what item it's looking for from the inventory. So we're going to type in stone, get the stone, and in this case we're also going to right click on the stone, and we're going to specify an amount of 1. That way it doesn't put, if you don't do that, it'll put a whole stack in your altar all at one time, and then it takes forever. So we'll go back, get out of there. Our output, we're going, we just put stone into the altar. Now we're going to take, no, wrong, totally wrong. Don't listen to what I just said, forget all about it. Okay, so we took stone out of the diamond chest in this one. Right. So this time we're going to put it into our blood altar. Wrong. Okay, so again, I'm going to put that up. That's for the top. And then this one, it doesn't really matter. Forget about this blacklist. You've already told it what you're inputting. So that's fine, just like that. Okay, and if we connect this, it will put a stone in there. Great. And then let's go ahead and turn that off. We'll turn it off by disconnecting that, and then it won't put anything else in there. Right. Okay, so those are our first 3 things. Next we're going to do a group. We're actually going to do 5 groups, 3, 4, 5, and a trigger. Now this is how we're going to select which slate we're doing. That way you can set up all the slates and then just make a quick change to make any slate that you need. So we're going to call this our selector, and then we're going to start dragging our groups over here. That's blank and reinforced and imbued, demonic, and what is that new one? Ethereal. Okay, so those are our groups. As we go into these, we'll change them. This one's going to be blank, and then we're going to click this arrow on content, and we're going to click in here, and now we are inside of that group. Okay, and since we have a trigger on the outside that we're going to be selecting each group with, we need to interface with this group, and you do that by a group node. This is what's going to link your outside trigger into this group that we've made. And then you also need an input and an output. Output, input, node. Okay, so this time we are taking out of the altar, like I was trying to say earlier. We're going to select the altar. We're going to tell it to click up the top of the altar, and we're going to whitelist. This is where we choose our thing. So let's write slate, blank slate. Okay, so that means it's only going to look for blank slates inside of here. And then output, we're going to go into the obsidian chest. Up, and forget about the blacklist. So that is now good. You connect these up, and that is done completely. Let's go back, and we can test it. So we'll take our selector, we'll set that to blank, we'll turn it on. It should make a blank slate. Give me some stone. Slate, and then into the chest. And you see how easy that is? It's amazing. So now we can go ahead and make these other ones, because they only take a second. Node, input, output. We're looking in the altar, taken out of the top, and we want reinforced slates. Reinforced slate, output. We're going into our obsidian chest in the top. No blacklist. Connect them up. Go back, and then we can select this, call it reinforced. Good. Now this should be making reinforced slates. Go. And you see how we got 2 in there? As long as that means that it's maybe triggering a little bit too fast. And there go the reinforced slates. Beautiful. So it may be triggering a little bit too fast, but as long as you can get the 2 done, it probably won't hurt anything. But if you have your interval set way too low here, like if it's at a second, it'll never get a chance to change it to to a blank slate, which stops more stone from going in. Alright, let's do these real quick. What is this? Imbued. I hate that. Okay. In here, node, input, output. Drag them over here. Inventories. Out of the altar. On the top. Looking for slate. State, slate. Imbued slate. Going into the obsidian chest. Oh, wrong button. in the top, no blacklist, done. So by now, I think you get the idea. We can just select this. We don't need to make the other two. So yeah, we'll see how many imbued slates we make here in a minute. Oh, and it took us 11, enough time to do 11 for both of those. Sweet! Alright, next thing. First things first, daytime. So, this is going to be for silicon, for AE. I've got a CobbleGen here, Extra Utilities CobbleGen. These things are sweet if you've never seen that. Water and lava and cobble with a node and some world interaction upgrades inside, and it just produces cobble from there and fills up whatever inventory you put it into. And they can go super fast, like 4 stacks a tick or something, if you do a whole bunch of world interaction upgrades. Anyway, way off topic. Into the sag mill. Alright, so we're going to, what we're doing here is we're going to take cobblestone and we're going to grind it into sand. That grinding of the cobble is going to produce sand and gravel. We don't care about the gravel, so the gravel is going in the trash. The sand is going to go into this sag mill. This sag mill is going to produce silicon, and then we're going to put the silicon into this ender chest. So, this, I don't think we're even going to use any groups. We're just going to straight trigger, input, and output all of it. So let's start with this first thing. No. So, trigger, that's fine the way it is. We will name these. You don't have to do this, but I like to do it to make sure that I know what's what, and if there's a problem I can go and seek it out. So we're going to call this cobble, because we're moving the cobble. I hate that. Super OCD. Okay. Inventories, we're going from our iron chest. Done with you. We're going to take out of the top of it, and we're going to whitelist cobble. Then our output, we're going into the first sag mill, which is 2 blocks away. Right. That's how you tell that is like how many blocks away it is when you have multiple inventories. It can get confusing if you have a bunch of multiples of the same kind of inventory. So I normally try to split it up as much as possible. Out of the sag mill, into the sag mill is what we're doing. And we're going to go ahead and put this into the top, but we have to configure the sag mill to what we tell it. We got to tell it it's coming in the top. Otherwise, the sag mill won't accept it. So let's go ahead and configure this. Input there, and we're going to output out of the bottom. Okay, done there. Back into here. Input to output, and cobble. That should stick some cobblestone in there. Beautiful. Alright, now let's go ahead and deal with the trash. Trigger, input, output. We'll call this trash. We're going from the sag mill out of the bottom, and we're looking for gravel. That's done. Going into the trash can. We'll do that at the top because it doesn't matter. And blacklist is fine. And let's see if we have any gravel in here. Got a couple gravel. Turn that on. Oh, you didn't do it. Do it! And the gravel is gone. Right into the trash can, so it's getting deleted. Alright, let's go ahead and do our sand. Doop doop doop. Output. Input. Trigger. This is for sand. Wrong. We're going to move that sand into from our first sag mill out of the bottom, because that's what it's configured for, and we're looking for sand. And then we're going to go into our other sag mill, into the top, and blacklist is fine. Let's go configure this real quick. In the top, out the bottom, connect them up, sand. And another thing you can do, if you don't need silicon, you can also put some kind of a smelter there, like a furnace or anything that smelts items, and you can pump it into there and make glass out of it. So I found that this is a really super useful design. Okay, so we've got our silicon going over there. Now we're going to move our silicon into our ender chest. Name this silicon. From the second sag mill. That was the second one. Yes, correct. Out of the bottom. And we are looking for silicon. Perfect. Output, we're going into our ender chest. Up. And no blacklist. And that's fine. And now we have silicon in here. So that's done. Quick. It's perfect. It's wonderful. And now we have silicon coming over here. We're going to make all of the inscribers automated for AE real quick. Throw down our factory manager. So we're going to do another selector so that we can choose which inscriber we're going to make. And so that means some more groups. This is probably the hardest one out of any of them that we've done. So a couple of things are going to be full-time. Anytime it's full-time, I put it out here, just like I showed over here. Everything was full-time, so it's all outside of groups. We had our on-off over here that was full-time. So first thing we're going to do is full-time, we're going to put silicon, whatever it is, into our first inscriber to make the pressed silicon. So we will take our trigger and name it silicon. Better, much better. Input, we're coming from our, what is that? Oh, that's fine. Coming from our ender chest, out of the top, and we're looking for silicon. Done. And then we're going to go into our very first, this one has our silicon press. I also put logic in here, and calculation in here, and engineering in here. So, yep, into our first inscriber. 4 blocks away, 5, 6, 7, right. So this is definitely the first one. We're going to go into, now this, we need to take a look at our directions, because these things are like side specific. I always go for the top thing. If we were putting that in there, that would go in the top. The bottom thing would go in the bottom. I think this can go in any side and out any side, maybe, but I always do like back or left for this, and right for this. So we are facing in a north direction, so our output, we're going to set our target, we're going into the back, that'll be north, and that's fine. So this should go there, and that to there, and that should put silicon in there, and then it'll make it from the silicone we just made over there. Okay, next we are going to move that silicone over to the assembly inscriber. There and there and there. We're going to call this press silicone. Press sil, really, there isn't enough room for silicon. And this is coming from our first inscriber out of the east side and we're looking for press silicon. And then we're going to go into our very last inscriber, which is 8 blocks away, correct? We're going to go into the bottom of that inscriber, and we don't need a blacklist. Connect that up, connect that up. That sends this silicone over to here, and there it is in the bottom. Alright, so now we have that. I think we have one more full-time thing to do, and that is redstone. So we're going to take this trigger, we're going to call it redstone. We're going to take, we have redstone, oh, let's make it day too. Day. We've got redstone in this obsidian chest. So we're going to go from the obsidian chest out of the top. We're looking for redstone. And then we're going into our very last inscriber. And we're going to go into the north side, that's the back. And blacklist is fine. So this one, link it up, and redstone should be sitting right here. And it is. Now, for this, let's see, now we're going to get into our groups. So we need a logic group, a calculation group, and an engineering group. Stick these down here. Boop, 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 and boop. And we'll also need a selector. We'll call this our selector. This we will call logic. Okay. Go into our group. We're going to make a node, just like before. We're going to make an input and an output, and we're going to go from our diamond chest. This is going to be our input chest right here. We're going to put anything that we're going to make it out of, gold or pure Certus or diamond, into this chest. It's also going to be our output chest, so the stuff will go out into the system, come back, and land in here. So, we're coming from the diamond chest, out of the top, of course, and we are looking for gold. Gold, good. Output, we're going to our second inscriber, which is 5 blocks away. we're going into the north, and no blacklist. So that's that, and that's that. Then we also need, we're going to put a trigger inside of this group along with an input and an output, and this is going to get it from the inscriber that it's in into the assembly inscriber. So we need to go from this second inscriber out of the east side, that's the right side from here, and then into our very last inscriber, into the top. Blacklist is good. What? Why are you upset? In east. Oh. No, you're good. I forgot to do the thing. So that's another great thing about Steve's Factory Manager. If something is wrong, it lets you know. Oh, and I didn't even know that it did that. It tells you exactly what's wrong. Okay, so we need to make, we're looking for a circuit. Printed logic circuit. That's what we want. Alright, so now that's totally good. We can test this. Give me some gold. Oh. Holy crap. Anyway, no, that's not where that goes. Go in there, gold. And the gold should... Oh, I know why it's not. We have to select it with our selector. Select the selector. Gold in there. Pressing. Circuit in there. Turning into a whole circuit. Or a processor. That's what it's called. That's what I said. Processor. Alright. So we are missing one more full-time command group thing. What these are. So we're going to do another trigger and input and output. And then this, we're going to whitelist all of the processors, so that it's always trying to take anything that's out of that last chest finished and put it into the original chest. So we're going to call this return. That's our return. We're going from the very last inscriber out of the east side, and we're going to whitelist processors, logic, calculation, and diamond engineering. That's what I said. And then we're going to go out back to our diamond chest into the top. Blacklist is cool. And now there's 12 processors right there. Beautiful. Alright, so while that's doing that, we can go ahead and go into here, put together our last, well, not our last, this group of things. And a trigger and an input and an output. Got that? Got that? Got it all. Alright, so node, this is going to come from our diamond chest, and it's going to look in the top, and it's going to look for pure Certus quartz. That's what you use to make these calculation processors. And we're going to go into our third inscriber, 4, 5, 6 blocks away. No, that's not correct. East, no, that's not right either. North, that's where we want to go. Into the north side, that's the side we're facing right now, and the blacklist is fine. Okay, so we'll connect those, and we will also tell this inventories. We're coming out of the third inscriber. We're going to come out of the east side this time. And we are looking for calculation circuit. That's good. And we're outputting into the very last chest. Or not chest, but inscriber. And we're going to go into the top. And the blacklist is fine. Okay, so now let's call this calculation. Go ahead and select it. This thing will still finish up, oh well, if it's backed up at all, it'll still finish. That's why I write the commands the way that I do, because if there's more logic and then you change it to calculation, it'll still finish the logic stuff that it's doing. Nothing will jam up. So we need to get some of that pure Certus. We need to throw that in here. There that goes, making the thing. Do the thing. Do it. Did it. Do it. And it's doing it. It's totally happening. Okay. Let's finish up this last one real quick. And we've got a trigger and an input and an output. Those are going over here. And we also have a node and an input and an output. Yep. Move! Anyway. Yeah, you guys should be getting the idea by now. Out of the diamond chest. Out of the top. We're looking for diamonds. Good. And we're going into the second to last inscriber. That is now 7 blocks away. Into the north side. Side we're facing. Blacklist is cool. Got it. Good. And then this trigger, that's fine. We need to do our inventory from our second to last chest out of the east side, and we are looking for circuit engineering to be exact, and we're going to go into our very last inscriber, into the top, and the blacklist is fine, and that's that, and that's that. This should have some calculation things going. Can I get some diamonds, please? Into there. Switch, go back. Selector, do the selecty thingy. Got that. Pulled a diamond out. It's going in. Let's make it daytime. Diamonds. Into the thing. Making the engineering processors. You can see we've got all that. It's perfect. So, I hope that this was helpful to you guys. I had a lot of fun making this. If you guys liked the tutorial, make sure you let me know somehow. Like it, or comment, or hit the subscribe button, something. So, thanks a lot for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.